Welcome to Bench Burner Sports, everybody. We are back for another episode. Uh, we're happy to be here. We are talking about another Apex Fight Night. Card is what it is. It's not the worst we've ever seen, but it's definitely not much to write home about. We're going to talk about the main card at least. There are some intriguing-ish matchups, so main event should be good. Answer a lot of questions at the top of that division. Main event is Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber. Pretty stoked actually on that one. I do like Erin Blanchfield a lot. I know Square does as well. Um, excited to talk about it. As excited as we can be, anyways. Knuckles, what's up, bud?
Yeah, man. It's one of those ones where I say it's a card because that's what it is. Seen some people saying this is one of the better cards that they've seen the Apex put together. Don't really agree with that.
People like
Um,
saying that.
I just, well, I won't shout out who it is. There, no, there's credited journalists that are saying this is better. This is one of the best Apex cards they've seen in a long time. And we'll have a question regarding that coming up. I squared probably can ask it since he'll be the one finishing up. But yeah, it's a card, man. I mean, I'm kind of excited to see Gamrot back in there. Haven't seen him for a little while. And obviously the matchup was kind of odd. I feel like he deserves somebody a little bit higher up, but he's game taking on Ludovic Klein. So shout out to that. I am kind of excited for that one. Also, Billy Ray Goff's on the card, and anytime he's on the card, it's a fun time. So, Squared, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. As Max had mentioned, look forward to my Queen Blanchfield fighting this weekend. If you're listening, follow us on all of our social media platforms: X at bench_burner, Instagram, TikTok. I always forget what all we've got. Facebook, obviously YouTube and Spotify and all those things. At Bench Burner Sports, you'll find us there. I'm going to ask a question, and if you're watching this and you've got a comment section within reach, please drop your answer below. The question is, what Apex card is most deserving of a crowd, or was most deserving of a crowd? Um, Obviously, there's been some pretty forgettable Apex cards, but every once in a while you'll get a good one, and you'll say like, "Man, imagine if there was a live crowd to like add to the momentum and the moment of the card." I guess I'll go ahead and give my answer. My answer is a little bit of a cheat because the only reason it was an Apex card was that it was in the heat of COVID, and that would be Poirier versus Hooker. I know that that's kind of a cheat. It's kind of a cheat answer, but it was a fight night and it was in the Apex. But that card overall had a fair share of finishes. Definitely would have hyped up a crowd. And then that fight, just Poirier versus Hooker. Uh, God, can you imagine? Like that? That's one of the best fights ever. It's got to be in like probably got to be in the top 10, I'd say. Somewhere around that top 5. And it's just crazy to imagine if there was a live crowd of tens of thousands of people, or I don't know what a UFC crowd usually at, like 15,000, something like that.
Probably,
Just
yeah.
imagine if there was 15,000 people there to
20.
yeah. But just imagine if that many people were there to live react to that, just how electric that would be. And I think it's a travesty that that was taken from us.
I agree. Agree. Max, you want to go next, or do you want me to go
You can
next?
go ahead, Knuckles.
Okay. So I went with a little bit more recent memory. It was last year, and I'm not saying that this card was the greatest thing in the world, but I do feel like for what it was, it deserved the crowd. Um, and it was the Ultimate Fighter finale. It was Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Baralho. The only reason that I say that I think that it deserves a crowd is because there was some really good fights. There's some really good finishes, and I just think that if you're gonna have a tough finale. I just feel like it deserves to be in front of like a big crowd, and it was kind of a letdown that Myron Santos and Ryan Loder, they got their pretty big statement finishes, and it had to be to like 30 people in a warehouse, and that was kind of sad, because I just you think about of all the tough fights in the past, they've always pretty much been in front of a crowd, and I just think they deserved more. And also Kyle his coming out party, beating the dog shit out of Jared Cannonier and facing adversity himself. Tabitha Ricci defeating Angela Hill was okay. Michael Morales dogged walk Neil Magny. That was kind of his coming out party. Also, I say that too because get Michael Morales out of the Apex. Stop putting him in the Apex. What are you doing? GM3 subbed Edmund Shabazian. I think it was after like Edmund beat his ass in the first round, and I called it, and I was like, yeah, he's gonna get like I went exactly how predicted. Edmund was gonna wear out, and Gerald submitted him in the second round. Francis Marshall versus Dennis Bazooka. Zachary Reese beat the absolute hell out of Jose Medina to a decision. I remember that. Slava Claus fought, and Wang Kong. I think that might have been her debut fight where she knocked out Victoria Leonardo and kind of made a statement saying, Valentina, I'm coming for you. Obviously, the hype hasn't quite matched, but still, pretty good card. And it just made me think that, those dudes deserved a crowd. But yeah, Max, you got one, man?
Yeah.
Can I just add a silver lining to as much as it would have been cool to see Poirier and Hooker in front of a crowd, I will say I got to go back in retrospect and remember that was when the Apex situation was like still pretty new. So to hear
you could hear everything.
To hear fists thwacking on chins was just like really cool, and that was part of why that fight was so awesome. So I do have to show respect to that. But I think a crowd, in hindsight, a crowd would be even better.
Also, going to that card, that was so I was like a lot of people know this. If you don't, I was a huge UFC fan back in like the GSP days, like 2010 to like 2014. Stopped watching it forever. That card was the first card that I like got back into the sport. Like Poirier versus Hooker. Went to my buddy's apartment in Brentwood. Will never forget it. And just saw that card as the card to get reintroduced back to the sport was just freaking awesome. Mine is.
I like how he said, I stopped being a UFC fan forever until I became a UFC fan again. That's not how forever works.
That's not what I said.
You said stop being UFC fan forever. You absolutely
did. I say that, Knuckles?
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. Did not say that.
Run it back.
I would love to hear that recording.
That's where you just see the mystical pool and it's Max.
Nah, dude.
Before you go,
before you go,
I want to say the thing about those Apex cards back in the day. If the UFC is so adamant about sticking to the Apex, get rid of the crowd completely, because that was what made those special. Is all you heard was this.
Right. Yeah.
And it made it so much
coaches yelling, and then just
the little crowds just don't do it, man. It's like a bunch of drunk dudes betting, and they're just getting excited because my parlay hit, like that's.
And then it's just the fighters like mom and girlfriend squealing in the back.
Yeah, like Michael Morales' mom went absolutely like nuts last weekend or whatever. She went crazy. Anyway, Max, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I'm pulling one. It's a pull, but I do remember this fight night. I enjoyed it. It was Vettori versus Dolidze 2. It was in 2024, late 20. Oh wait, no, that was this year. What the fuck am I talking about?
Are you thinking about the first one? Or are you thinking about
No. I was thinking about one that I was gonna pick Magny versus Prochest, but then you made me feel subconscious about it because you brought it up while I was picking. And then but yeah. I'm gonna go that one. It was in March. It was a pretty good card. I mean, the prelims, 5 out of 7 fights were finishes. And then on the main card, I think like 3 out of the 5 fights or 4 out of the 6 fights, whatever it was, were finishes. And we also saw a Kimura finish, which was the first time we had seen that in a long time. So that was pretty cool. Huh?
Those. I mean, Kimura's used to be like more common. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now people just use it to transition because it's hard to get somebody with it. But was Dolidze Vettori a good fight? I'm struggling to.
Yeah, I think it was fairly decent. Dolidze just.
I remember being better than the first. Maybe it wasn't better than the first one.
The first one was really good.
I do remember it being another display of Vettori just getting blasted in the chin and having zero reaction whatsoever to it. So
Every time.
that had to have been
But,
pretty
yeah, I
entertaining.
mean, you had Chidi knockout, Easy DS, and the Mont Blackshear is the one that got that Kimura, and then Brinson Hibero got a. Wait, was there 2 Kimuras?
Shout out to Mon Blackshear, dude. He always is getting some like cool ass submissions, twisters
There
and
was
shit.
two Kimuras on that main card, apparently.
I wanna say this, man. I wanna say this for people who like. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, here at Bench Burner Sports, we are advocates for getting the hell away from the Apex. We want crowds all the time, but I just want to say this for everybody that complains about these Apex cards. It could be worse because in 2021, Norma Dumont versus Aspen Ladd was a main event at an Apex card. Just want to remind everybody that happened. That happened. And the co-main event was Andre Arlovsky versus Carlos Felipe, who's not even, I don't even know if he's fighting anymore.
And then somehow, with a crowd, Nashville gets a Derek Lewis main event.
Because they just know it's going to be like one of those two dudes is going to fall. Like, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we got
that's what I keep telling myself is like, at the very least, one of those guys is getting knocked out, right?
Unless they don't.
I mean,
unless, yeah,
and it becomes a fucking clinch fest in the third
I don't think it'd
round.
be a clinch fest. I think it would be worst case scenario. It's Derek Lewis
Ngannou.
versus Ngannou again, where it's just gun shy.
Dude, I would
But I don't think Taliesin has a reason to be gun shy, so I feel like he would
burn
just.
down Bridge Stone Arena.
His reach, I think his reach will be insane on Derek Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Well, Derek Lewis got like a 78 or 79 inch reach, pretty decent one. But I think Teixeira is like 83 or 84.
Teixeira
like
is literally a spider monkey. Like he.
Yeah. He's fucking Oh yeah. Also, before we start breaking down the card, I want to give a shout out real quick today to Combat Sports Today. They are friends of ours, and we are friends of theirs. I got this cool ass sticker from them. The reason I got that cool ass sticker is because I won this in one of their giveaways. It is a Bilal Muhammad card signed by the former champ himself, Bilal Muhammad. And it's gonna go right here. I was gonna say he kind of, like at first we weren't, it's a Bilal Muhammad card, but then like he had a pretty kick ass performance, even though he lost. We're just chilling there, but yeah, shout out Combat Sports Today. I appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate Phil, the whole gang, Fu, Josh. Josh was the one that sent me the cards. So shout out Josh. Keep doing your guys' thing. You guys are doing great work. Appreciate you guys always. So
hell yeah, and also shout out to
some of their stickers.
Hell yeah, shout out to our mascot Harper, who just went well out of her way to make herself comfortable. Super stoked on that. That was super fun to experience, but as long as she's happy.
Right. Hey, that's what matters, man.
All right.
Let's get into this.
All right, getting into these fights, we're going to be talking about Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber first. This one, I kind of like both of them. As much as I love Erin Blanchfield, this one was a hard choice for me. Maycee Barber's kind of been on a tear lately. She had that stint there where she was, she was winning but not doing it super impressively. But lately she's been on a tear. But I mean, Erin Blanchfield is Erin Blanchfield. I think she's going to be too much for her. I think we've only seen Blanchfield lose to Manon Fiorot, or Fior, whatever. And then she did just beat Rose. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was pretty unimpressive. It was kind of just a stalemate.
Rose was like winning until she decided to like stop winning. Basically, what happened.
Yeah, and it wasn't like super entertaining if I remember correctly. But that being said, I still think Blanchfield will be the champion of that division at some point, and she's so young. I can see her just. I don't want to say domination because that would probably be disrespectful given Maycee Barber's track record, and it's hard to consistently win in women's MMA. We've seen it time and time again. So I don't know. It could be close, but I do see Blanchfield winning fairly comfortably, I would say. Knuckles, what do you think?
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to think about it, and like they're both fairly young. They're both Very talented because I do think that Maycee is talented. I just like every time I see her out, I always have a lot of questions. I mean, her performance against Caitlin Chikagian or Sermonara and Amanda Hebos obviously was pretty impressive, but she also just doesn't. I don't know. There's like a lot of time between a lot of her fights. Like the least amount of time between fights was between the Andrea Lee split win and the Amanda Hebos win, and then she took like almost a year off, and then fought Caitlin Sermonara, and now it's been over a year, and she's fighting Erin Blanchfield. I know she had like a knee injury or something along those lines and had to have surgery. And I think that in this game, um, especially like, I mean, she's younger, so she can stand to like have the time off, but I just feel like staying consistent and fighting more is your friend. And I know she was scheduled to fight Rose at one point and then got injured. I think that was the Denver card, possibly. I don't remember. And I think Aaron Blanchfield slotted into that position. Maybe I can't remember, but I don't know, man. It's like it's very interesting because I'm also curious to see where like Aaron Blanchfield's striking has come because that was a very big concern for me. Because she just has very rudimentary striking. It almost like I hate to say it, but it almost reminded me a lot of Ronda Rousey, where it's just like that kind of shit, you know. And I don't know because Macy's a good she's good on the feet. I think she got a karate base, so she's fairly like decent. I think she's got a bladed stance, so that could serve for like Aaron to get a single or like a good clinch trip. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Aaron to win the decision here. Um, and it might be fairly close. Here I'll say this: expect it to look like the Rose fight, kind of. That's what I'm expecting here because it's kind of similar stylistically, except for I just don't think Macy's quite as good as Rose, and that's how I feel. Yeah, there
That's
we go.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I mean, Rose was
Rose,
champ,
Rose.
so
Doug Rose, Doug Rose. All right, so I don't even know the score. It'll be a fairly close decision, but yeah, I'd say Aaron wins the decision. Squared, what do you got on that one, man?
You kind of just encapsulated my thoughts at the end. Going back to that Rose fight, I kind of think it will be similar to that. I also agree with what you said. Rose, this is just kind of using as like a base for the whole thing. Beating Rose, I think, is pretty impressive even today. Um, she had just come off of battering Tracy Cortez, literally knocking the eyelashes off of Tracy Cortez. um, so to beat her, it shows. I think she's improving still, of course, and she's got a ways to go. And I imagine we might see some of that. Um, on Saturday night, not just her improving, but also maybe her still having some ways to go. She's very young, but I do think she comes out by decision. Blanchfield, that is, comes out by decision.
cool. Next up, we've got Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludwig Klein. Or Mateusz Gamrot, sorry, if we want to get
You didn't
technical.
say too bad. You didn't say too bad.
Ludwig Klein has been on a tear. Don't get me wrong. However, other than like Ignacio Bahamondes, I don't rate many of his wins in that tear that he's been on. Um, and he's one of those guys that like will go on a little run, but then he's just due, and he's due. And dude, we've seen Mateusz Gamrot fight the who's who of the lightweight division for the most part, aside from like a couple people. He's getting older, but he's still only 34, which is not that old for lightweight. He's coming off of a split decision win or loss against Hooker.
Loss.
Loss. That's what I thought. Yeah. Honestly, I take Gamrot here. I mean, Armin looks like now the person to beat at lightweight. And I mean, it was a somewhat controversial decision, but he still beat Armin. So I don't know. I think Ludwig Klein's pretty good. I think he will continue to be like a solid, especially now the way the division's shaping out with the top guys starting to filter out. I think he'll be like a solid top 15 gatekeeper for, like a Neil Magny of the lightweight division probably. But I don't think he can get past Gamrot. I think Gamrot's a little bit too much. I think he's a little bit better, probably everywhere. So, Knuckles, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that just going into this one, the competition jump right here from going from Roosevelt Roberts to Gamrot is kind of insane. I don't, I didn't really get this booking. I didn't understand it that much. Like Klein's exciting, but he's not like the biggest finisher in the world. And I was just trying in my head. I was like, well, why? Like, why? What reason would they book this fight whenever there's a million other fights you could book for Gamrot? Hell, they could have booked Armin versus Gamrot too, and I would have been down for that, or like Gamrot versus Beneil again, or Gamrot versus Moicano. So I don't know, something along those lines. So I was really confused by the matchmaking here. I know that I think the Roosevelt Roberts was like a replacement fight. I don't remember who he was supposed to originally fight, but I'm feeling like that was a replacement fight. I'd have to look on Tapology. But AJ Cunningham, Thiago Moises, and Roosevelt Roberts, his last three. Thiago Moises has kind of been like on the outs of like the elite level. He was kind of the guy that you were describing, like gatekeeper to the top 15. That's where Moises was at, and now he's not looked the best recently. I mean, he got really badly knocked out by Jared Gordon. Roosevelt Roberts isn't in the UFC anymore. Also,
Which,
probably
let's
should
be
have.
honest, losing to Jared Gordon in 2025, not the best.
Jared Gordon's on a revenge tour right now. He's coming for Patty. That's what he's doing. But no, and AJ Cunningham, is AJ Cunningham. But yeah, like you said, the Bahamondes win is a very, very interesting one. But he also drew with Jai Herbert.
Yeah. It's Jai Air Bear.
Yeah, Air Bear.
You guys want to always
Black
fuck
Country Banger. Sorry, the Black Country Banger. Let me say it.
Well, dude, also, like, that was before Ignacio Bahamondes really was on his run that he's on. I think that was his last loss. But
Bahamondes just like,
yeah, I think that loss just turned him into a different fighter. But like, I still
Bilal's why him and Bilal trained together. Bahamondes was like, yep. Yeah, they do train together though. But anyway,
you just wanted to show that card again.
Had to. But anyway, regardless, suffice to say, I think Gamrot's going to take a decision here. I just think the skill jump is too big. And I think that Gamrot, unless he is really starting to like wind down his career, which I don't think. I think he's trying to probably push for like one last run towards that title. I think he's going to take the win here, and I think it'll be. It's every Gamrot fight's close, unfortunately, because it's a style of fighting he has. But it'll be close, but it'll be wide by Gamrot margins, if that makes sense. Like Gamrot margins, it'll look like a Gamrot fight. I think he'll win it.
So not a split decision is what you're saying?
Yeah, like 29-28 probably.
Close unanimous decision.
Yeah. So that's what
That's
I'll go
utter dominance by Gamrot.
Yeah, by Gamrot. Squared, what do you got on that one, man?
Yeah. This one's a little tricky for me. I feel like that Klein's got potential. And I think he's got potential to win the fight. But I'm gonna have to go with Gamrot. I feel bad for Gamrot, dude. I feel like he is just never climbing the way that he should be. And most of that is due to, as we've mentioned, his style, which leads him to a lot of very questionable split decisions. He just never finds himself climbing the rankings the way he should be. And unfortunately, when he has climbed the rankings, he has gotten nuked by Beneil Dariush and like moments like that. But I think this is one for him. Probably by another sketchy split decision, I feel like, but no, he'll win by decision. It'll be Gamrot, but he is getting kind of up there, 34. Max said that's young for lightweight. It's not old, but it's definitely last.
That's on the line. That's on
taking a lot of damage in his career, though. I don't feel like
that's true, except for getting nuked by Beneil.
I'll say Beneil, fucking folded him like a lawn chair for like half a second. I don't know how he got up from that.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of for Gamrot's grown on me. I will say, like, I like his personality a lot.
Polish soccer dad.
Yeah, I used to kind of, I wouldn't say I disliked him, but I'm like, oh god, this guy just like gets these decisions that I'm not gonna say they're robberies, but like they're all very questionable. But getting to know his personality, he's grown on me a lot. So I would like to see him kind of give it one last good go. Whatever he's got left in the gas tank, put it out on this streak.
His fighting style definitely tends to not be super entertaining at times. But,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he
The
does.
Armin fight was like the one good one
Oh,
because
well, yeah, that was just
worked.
like
It worked. Like it worked.
expert. Yeah, because he was having to scramble and
That was
just
that was a beautiful
reversals.
grappling
Oh,
match.
it was awesome. That's like when people say when I say I like MMA grappling, I'm like, that's what the fuck I'm talking about.
That's when I found out how insanely flexible Armin was, because he would go for those high single legs, and dude, Armin's leg would be like up here. Armin's leg would be like way back here, just bouncing on one foot like it was nothing.
He's a
Nah,
freaking
yeah.
nature, man.
That one should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. Next up, we got Billy Ray Goff versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Billy Ray Goff's 9-3. Pretty sure he lost his UFC debut. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, he did against
versus Waters.
Yeah, Trey Waters. I believe that's his only fight in the UFC thus far. And then Ramiz Brahimaj has been in the UFC for a long time, but he's only fought twice since 2022, I think. So, and I think he went 1-1 in those two fights. And this is short notice. I really don't have much to cook on this one. I just think Billy Ray Goff, for the most part, because of this isn't really short or short notice, is it? Because they both had fights scheduled, huh?
But it's short notice for each other. They both were in fight
Yeah.
camp, but training to fight different opponents.
Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, still Billy Ray Goff.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit probably fresher. I mean, do we know why Brahimaj was out? I would assume some kind of injury. But regardless, Billy Ray Goff's 26, and I think we saw that youth in his debut against Trey Waters, and Trey Waters is a monster. I think Billy Ray Goff gets it done. I hate to predict another decision, but I think that's how it happens. Knuckles, what do you think?
Billy Ray Goff supremacy is going to knock him out. I don't rate Brahimaj that highly. And Billy Ray, he showed some grit and determination in that Trey Waters fight, especially when he was getting tagged. And I think there was moments where it kind of got hairy for Trey a couple of times. I think he started gassing, and Billy he's a dog, and I like the guy. I like his personality. I like how he is on social media. I like just him in general. I've watched some of his stuff in the past, and he's a good dude. Brahimaj just doesn't really do it for me. Like getting off the bus and everything, he looks fine, I guess, but he's just not like I don't know. He's not the. I just don't see it with Brahimaj, and I see it more so with Billy Goff because of the age and everything else like that. And I think that he's just going to kind of pour it on Brahimaj and get a W here. Yeah, that's what I think. I think he'll win by TKO in the first 2 rounds. Squared, what do you think, man?
Hell yeah. Billy Ray. I love that that's his name. Sorry. Billy Ray. First of all, I thought he beat Trey Waters, in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. He's kind of we saw it. We got to know early in his contender series fight. His fights can go either way very quickly. He got dropped very badly in that contender series fight and then just rallied. Got the it's kind of like a volume TKO. I not saying I expect him to get dropped in this fight, but I do expect it to be a bit of a brawl, and I think he'll win at that. And I think that Billy Ray Cyrus Jr. gets the TKO.
Hell yeah. Second to last fight we have to talk about, and man, this name value on this one's crazy. We got Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. Super, super, super stoked for that one. I don't really have much to say other than Bruno Lopez is probably going to kill him. Probably going to commit murder live on ESPN Plus. So tune in for that.
These are great words for the YouTube algorithm.
I forgot. He's going to unalive him.
He's going to grape and unalive.
Time to the radiator.
Leave it, Coop. Leave it. Fuck it.
Yeah, leave it.
He's going to touch him inappropriately.
Anyways,
no, it's going to be Bruno Lopez. And I'm... What did he say?
I have no idea. That was just
SpongeBob reference.
Dude, you sounded like you were in a 50-foot underground tunnel.
I said, boo, this guy stinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, I do.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, brother.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. Dustin Jacoby is probably done. He was never all that started. Yeah, for sure.
The GOAT? You talking about the GOAT like that?
Yes, I am. Knuckles, what do you think?
Man, I love the Hanyak, man. I like Jacoby. What he did to Vitor Petrino in the last fight was pretty sick. Pretty dope knockout. Lopez is kind of overrated because I think it might have been like Yanni the Greek or one of those dudes was talking about how he was one of the best dudes coming to the contender series in a long time, like undefeated, and then he ended up getting fucked up by Brinson Ribeiro, which Brinson Ribeiro has showed that he's pretty decent. But I don't know like what I think of him. I think Lopez himself, let me look again. I think he's fairly older himself. Because I know the Hanyak, I know that old Dustin Jacoby.
32.
How old?
32.
He looks old as shit. Yeah, he's 32. He looks old as shit. He looks like he's like 40. I know Jacoby's what, 37? Yeah, he's 37. I'm just looking here. His fight against Gachazulov like didn't do it for me. Low key, like, am I gonna pick Dustin? I don't know, man. Like you said, what we've seen of Dustin recently leaves some to be desired. Because I mean, Dominic Reyes knocked him out because Dominic Reyes is on a revenge tour, so we know like that's that. Alonzo Minifield, that loss was Minifield's Minifield. Azamat Mirzakhanov is a guy who is like always like right there in the top 10, but just doesn't do anything with it. And then Khalil Roundtree, he won that fight. Still think he won that fight. I'll go Bruno, but I'm not confident in it. I'm interested in that fight because I really want to see where Dustin's at. I just don't have a lot of confidence in Bruno Lopez because I think he's kind of overrated. 14-1, so like shout out to like him being 14-1, but the Brinson Ribeiro loss gave me a lot of like pause. And Dustin's not like losing to like terrible fighters. They're all like top 10 ish guys. So except for Minifield. But yeah, so let's go with Bruno Lopez with that one by decision, probably. Might knock him out. Squared, what do you think, man?
Kind of going off vibes with this one. Honestly, obviously, Jacoby's got the experience, which can go a long way. But in this one, I'm just going to go with the slightly younger guy. And not that Lopez is very young, but he is in like a good age range. He's on when a lot of fighters are in their prime. Not to say that he is or is not there in his career. 15 fights is a 32-year-old's a little strange, but it's whatever. I think he gets a TKO finish in this one.
I'm looking up the odds because I feel like for some reason I feel like Lopez is going to be a crazy big favorite going into this for some reason.
I don't know.
You guys go ahead. I'm curious.
Knuckles, you gonna take one more shot before we talk about the last fight?
Sure, I can do that.
Sure.
Got that, yeah, because
No.
can't let
For a minute.
the algorithm know we're.
Oh yeah, I guess we should.
What
Huh?
the fuck? Why can I not find the UFC?
Shot of water is what I meant.
Jacoby is almost a minus 200 favorite going into that fight.
Damn. You know it's actually not crazy surprising to me because I mean
Yeah,
he's
he's
won.
minus 185 and Lopez. Like, yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know, because
I
Lopez
just
like
think,
really,
dude, just looking at Jacoby's career, and it's no disrespect really, but like that steam's gonna run out at some point, and I think he's got like a young contender in front of him that's hungry,
yeah,
probably just a little bit more technical because I don't know. Like we always talk about, it's the new age of MMA versus the
yeah.
old age of MMA. It's just they're better,
I'm looking at some of these lines and I'm just like,
especially
yeah.
at those high weight classes. All right, last fight we're talking about tonight is Zachary Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. Zachary Reese is 8-2. Dusko Todorovic is 12-5, and has been somewhat of a disappointment in the UFC thus far compared to his original, expectations.
He looks like Stefan Struve's mini me.
Yeah, he hasn't won a fight since
Holy shit, that's a good
2022.
shout.
He lost in 2023 to Christian Leroy Duncan, in 2024 to Mansour Abdul Malik, both by knockout. Meanwhile, where's the damn fight? Zachary Reese, he's done, he's been a question mark in the UFC so far. I'm intrigued by this fight. It's a weird tale of the tape because they're both 31. Zachary Reese does have 3 reaches of advantage. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're both primarily strikers. So it could be an interesting fight. I think Zachary Reese gets it done probably by KO or TKO, to be honest. I'm going to go second round, late second round, probably. If I had to guess, I got that feeling about this one. I think Zachary Reese is, um, he's on the come up, but he's got to come up quick because he's already 31. So, but I got Zachary Reese. What do you think, Knuckles?
Yeah, I still I like Zach Reese a lot. I'm still like really, really. I have high hopes for him. I don't think he's going to be like a champion or anything, and he probably won't even like. He might crack the top 15, and that's good enough for me. I like him. I think he has potential. He's just come up short against a couple of tougher opponents. Cody Brundage, say what you want about him. The dude's always in for a fight. Brundage is, and he'll find ways to like make it a scrap. I mean, even look at the Bo Nickel fight. He lost it, yes, but turned it into a scrap. And Cody Brundage played with fire there and got slammed, and that's what happened. It was still one of the sickest finishes I've seen in a long time. Um, that slam because it was the same night where it was like back to back slams. It was I think Joe Selecki got slammed and Zach Reese got slammed like back to back or like not too far apart. Uh, and so that one sucked, and then he came back and beat the dog shit out of Julian Marquez in like 20 seconds. Then he beat the hell out of Jose Medina for 3 rounds. But as we know, unless you are Mansour Abdul Malik and can just nuke anybody, it's pretty hard to put away Jose Medina. And Zach did what he could, and then he ran into Azamat Bokoyev, who Bokoyev is obviously he's on fire right now. I think Bokoyev is going to be a top 15, top 10 type of guy before it's all said and done. Did not see that beforehand, but so he's running into two pretty tough dudes. I think in this one, Zorovic is just kind of a punching bag, in my opinion. I'm not trying to disrespect the man. I just don't think he's that good. He's kind of like a Marc Andre Barrio type, where he loses the guy he's supposed to lose to, and he beats the guys he's supposed to beat. And this is one of those situations where Zach could get caught in a firefight. Also, Zach is a striker to a point, like you said, Max, but he also does grapple some. I think he grappled a little
Yeah,
bit
if
against
you know.
Medina. He grappled against
He's got some
Brundage,
nasty ground pound.
I don't say which the Brundage fight, that grappling was to his disadvantage and shit. But in this one, I'm not really worried about like a risk of like a crazy slam or something like that. Yeah, and I just think that outside of getting caught by the odd shot, I think Zach's probably gonna take this one, probably gonna knock him out. And I'm gonna say in the first, I could see it happen in the first round, or it could be one of those weird sloppy middleweight type of fights. But I don't see Zach Reese making it that. I think he's gonna dogfight him and force Dusko to make a decision of am I gonna get knocked out or am I gonna knock him out? Then we're gonna see a firefight. That's what I believe it will be. And I believe it'll be a first round finish for Mr. Zachary Reese. I hope so. I like the guy. He's pretty fucking cool. I also think he's like from around Shiner, Texas, which like shout out. So yeah, squared. What do you got on that one, man?
Not a whole lot to add. I'm in agreement with y'all. Zach Reese got a couple, obviously the Azamat, however you say it, loss is aged. Yeah, Bakoyev. Obviously that loss is aged fairly well. It was a vicious, bad knockout, but aged as well as that can. The Brundage loss, not super impressive, but that also was 2 years ago. So definitely shown improvement since then. And I just feel like this fight's kind of tailored for, not saying the UFC was like, hey, let's get this guy back in the win column, but if you were to tailor a fight for him to win, this one would be on the itinerary for that. So yeah, giving it to him. I say he gets the finish. Knockout.
What I like about, like you said, I think the UFC sees excitement value in fighters, and so like they try to match make for the fighters that they want to stick around. Because if they wanted Zach Reese out of there, they could have just pit him against, I don't know, Mansour Abdul Malik maybe, because he probably would have got knocked out by him, or no, yeah, Mansour Abdul Malik, or even that Gautier guy, which he's probably gonna take him down to the ground. But still, like,
sorry, wasn't it Zach Reese that broke the glove curse when they were doing those new gloves for a little bit? And
so I think so.
There was like no knockout, and then suddenly 20 seconds versus the Cuban Missile Crisis, and he's got him out.
That's what I'm saying. Dude,
people were high on Zach for that night. I'll say that.
I think he's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And I think the UFC sees something there too because he's a Texas boy, and it's like Dana is a diehard for those good old American boys, So I think that he sees that there. So and I hope he does win because I really do like the guy. I like the guy a lot. Kind of wish he wouldn't have cut his hair. Don't know why he did that. Like he had way more like aura with the mullet. But hey, man, I'm a fellow bald brethren too. So let's just keep it rolling. So all right, hell yeah,
cool. Well, fuck. I guess to close this thing out, appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. It was a fun one, like we said. This card's. We're not going to pretend it's one of the grandest UFC cards we've ever had an episode on, but it'd still be fun.
Dude, I would pay $80 to watch this fight. If this was a pay-per-view, I'd watch this card easily.
I'm so sure you would. You'd be paying that.
Insert that meme of Steve Carell like cringing in the office where.
But I mean, there are some fun fights. There's some firefights that are available to happen. So hopefully that does happen. I'm going to be watching. I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast will be watching. Even when we complain about cars, we still watch them. That's the beauty of the sport, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited.
It's a very toxic relationship.
And we also, it is a very toxic relationship. But we didn't have a card this last weekend, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of fight fans are going to be feral for a card this weekend. So, I'm sure it'll get a lot of views and people be talking about it. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully there's a lot to talk about. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode. Also, just want to shout out right now, actually, as we are filming this at about 9 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday night, The Ultimate Fighter, the new season just started. So tune into that. I'm probably going to be watching that sometime tonight after we end this episode. So that could be interesting. Chael versus DC. That's just going to be, that's bound for just peak comedy. So if nothing else, just fun interactions between them. They're friends, but I'm sure it'll get chippy in a friendly way.
Those are
but
two competitive dudes,
Yeah, oh,
so
yeah.
that'll be
it should be
fun.
it should be a good time. That'll be fun to watch. Knuckles, what do you got?
Yeah, man. I forgot that was starting, so you kind of got me hyped for that. And I could see, like, as everybody know, DC sometimes takes things like a little too serious. So I could see like Chael pissing him off, just like like saying some like little quips because Chael's always just having a
You
good
can't
time.
get
Chael,
close to me. You can't get close.
yeah, we'll have that. Except for like, I feel like DC would like trip over himself.
Chael was gonna bring in Guru to talk about how American wrestling doesn't work anymore. Just to watch DC get flustered as hell.
I could see that. Sorry about the cough. I could totally see that, man. Oh gosh. Yeah, you got me pumped. I'm always excited. Been a while since I've watched the Ultimate Fighter, so it'd be pretty cool to watch. So shout out to that. Also, as for me, yeah, I'm gonna watch the card this weekend. I'm not gonna like. I said this off air, and I'll say it on air. I'm not gonna watch that first fight. I refuse to watch Artie Leon fight again. I'm gonna say that right now. So I'm going to just be an ass here and just say that
Dude,
I
I was
do
trying to
not
get her
want
on
to
the
see her
podcast.
fight. Huh?
Said, dude, I was trying to get her on the podcast.
Yeah, okay. She's the one that like has porn.
Oop.
Has
She has what?
adult entertainment things on her like social media and whatnot. She's probably just stick to that. Sorry. Not trying to like offend our like one female viewer we probably have. I believe that's
Immediately he
My
goes,
my
She
grandma.
sorry, grandma.
She has- Oop.
Yeah, I
Old
just I don't
Midwestern. Oop.
I just it's fun watching like bad fighters sometimes. But when you're so bad that you make the fight bad, I don't want to watch you. And she makes every fight bad. So, um, yeah, whatever. Also, shout out
Oh,
Combat Sports Today one more time. Got to shout that them out. Obviously, I like the guys, cool guys. They're over there, gave me the card, yada yada yada, all that. Great, thank you guys. But shout out Combat Sports, cool place. If you guys want fight news, go check them out. They report and they verify their sources. So shout out Combat Sports Today. And yeah, I don't know, just check out all our other stuff. Square to plug it. Kind of a dead time in MMA. Not a lot to talk about right now until we get to some better cards coming up. I think we're away. We got that.
you
what,
next weekend, right?
315 is that next weekend or is that the weekend
Yeah.
after?
316 next weekend.
316. We got that. It's a card too. I don't.
We'll
It's a
see.
card.
We'll talk about it when the time comes.
Hey, live on YouTube, baby. Catch us live on YouTube next week, probably Tuesday or so, at 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
We're gonna do Tuesday. Or we're gonna do Wednesday because Ultimate Fighter dropping.
That's a good point. Probably Wednesday. We'll see.
I think that's what we've been doing is Wednesdays anyway. I take up enough time. I get off my soapbox. I'll take a little step down. Squared, what do you got to say, man?
Good chatting with y'all. I hope obviously, as we've already said, not a tremendous card, but that doesn't mean it can't be a good card. And don't forget to follow it. Well, first of all, don't forget to answer our question, you assholes. What Apex card deserves to be in front of a crowd? Deserved to be in front of a crowd most of all. There's a lot of Apex cards, and I'm sure while we were kind of running through them, we forgot one that's like, oh yeah, that would have been awesome in front of a crowd. So if you can think of it, drop it in the comments.
I was saying we got to wrap it. We were just like
fast, so drop it in the comments if you can think of one, or if you just agree with us, let us know. Or if you think that our choices were shitty, let us know, and then we'll block you. Follow us on our social medias: X at bench_burner, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere else under the sun at benchburner sports.
And I want to give one last thing, and then we'll get out of here because it made me think of this because we had a little little thing before this. If they stay at the Apex, everybody, we want to know. If they stay at the Apex, would you rather there be no crowd period, like the Poirier and Hooker fight, or would you rather there be fans like there is now? Personally, I'm of the opinion of no fans, just coaches.
Yeah, if you're gonna go little, go none. That's better than 12 people.
I want to see what you guys think about that too. So that's a little also to see who listens this long. If you watch this long, but anyway. All right. So I guess that's it, boys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Cool. Oh yeah.